Well, hello, friends and neighbors. Dr. Ken Berry here with you today. I hope you're all doing very well. We're going to be hanging out for the next hour or so. I'm going to be answering a lot of questions from you, and we're going to be going over some news stories that are in the media right now. Some are ridiculous, and some are just flat out stupid. And you're going to be shocked at what I have to say about a couple of these news stories. I'm hoping that you can hang out with me. If you can't, you don't have to necessarily watch this. You can just put your phone down or keep your laptop going and listen to it as a podcast. Very often when I answer one person's question, many other people will go, "Oh, I didn't even know that I had that as a question, but I'm so glad he answered that because that helped me as well, even though I didn't have that question." So I've heard some people say, well, I mean, what if you don't answer a question that's relevant to me? Very often they are relevant to you and you just don't know it yet. And also very often when I answer a question for one person, I try to broaden the answer so it applies to thousands, if not more people as well. That's the way I answer questions. And I think that's why one of the reasons why so many people get such great benefit out of listening to these live Q&As. So if you haven't already done so, please hit the thumbs up or the heart button. That lets the algorithm know that this is important information. And if you'd like to, I'd really appreciate it if you would share this video on your favorite social media. There's a link kind of right down there that says share. If you click that, you can just pick Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to share it. You can also send the link in an email or a text message or WhatsApp. If you know somebody that needs some proper human diet in their life, you can send this to them. And I promise I will try my best to help the person that you like or that you love. Even if it's an undercover kind of love that nobody else knows about, that's okay. All right, let's get to some questions right off the bat here. Sheila says, can you have sunflower seeds? Now, Sheila, what she's meaning is on a proper human diet, which is low carb or keto or ketovore or carnivore, depending on what metabolic conditions you suffer from. Can you eat sunflower seeds? And so my answer to this is like my answer to many things. It depends. I would advise you to never eat raw sunflower seeds because plants do not like for you to eat their babies. And they put phytotoxins in their babies, and that's seeds. Seeds are a plant's babies. Their babies can't run away, so they put phytotoxins in the seeds. And so if you're going to eat any kind of seed or nuts, make sure that it's at least roasted before you eat it. Preferably soaked, sprouted, and then roasted because that's going to get rid of a lot of the phytochemicals. Some people can eat raw sunflower seeds and not seemingly have no problems. Other people notice that they're quite inflammatory, either to their gut or to their joints or to their skin, or even causing a degradation of their mental health. And so roast, sprout, soak all seeds and nuts. You don't have to do this. You can buy most seeds and nuts roasted, and that's going to knock down about 80% of those phytotoxins and make them edible to most people. There'll still be a few people who will, if they eat too many nuts or seeds, will have an inflammatory reaction. Great question. Let's see. What do we got here? Paul says, I love you all. Tell me, if you're watching right now, tell me what city, what state, what country you're watching from right now. Just type it right into the comments. It's easy to do. I'm not a wallflower, and I don't want you to be a wallflower either. Don't be shy. It's okay. You don't have to tell me your home address. I'm not going to come visit you. I just want to know what city, what state, what country. Put it in the comments. Here's a general question from Victoria. Which one is better, beef or salmon? This is a hard question. They're both very nutrient dense. I think that beef is probably a little bit more good, but salmon is very, very good. And when I say good, I mean not only tastes good, but is very nutrient dense, very uninflammatory, very good for you. Now, If you're talking about feedlot beef that you would buy in a cheap supermarket, that's still good for you, but it's not quite as good for you as if you buy grass-fed, grass-finished beef that only ate grass its entire life from a local rancher, preferably. Have you searched yet on the internet to try to find a local rancher or a local source of eggs? I hope you have. If you haven't, you can do that right now while you're listening to this. Same goes for salmon. If it's wild caught salmon, then it's going to be better than if it's farmed salmon. But even the cheapest farm salmon is still going to be better for your health than any soybean, any tofu, any loaf of bread, any bowl of cereal. The cheapest salmon and the cheapest beef are 100 times better for you than any of the expensive ultra processed crap. Does that make sense? I would pick, if I could only pick beef or salmon, that's it. You got to pick, and you can never stray from that. I would pick beef, but that's just me. I think there are many people who live in the equatorial parts of the world, or who live in a coastal, their ancestors for the last 50 generations have lived near the coastline. They might do better with salmon. It's hard to know. Victoria says, eating beef makes my lower back hurt. That's very, very weird, Victoria. I would highly encourage you to see your local doctor and talk to them about this. There's literally nothing about beef that would make your kidneys hurt or make your intestines hurt. There's something else going on here. This is probably a referred pain from your stomach or your esophagus or something else. There's something weird going on here. Here's a question from Caroline. How does bad cholesterol come away from the glycocalyx, and where does it go, please? Oh, Carolyn's been doing her reading. So bad cholesterol, it has been misnamed, Miss Carolyn, and everybody else listening. There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. Now, LDL cholesterol has been called by many cardiologists and many doctors the bad cholesterol for decades. They've repeated this lie for so many decades that many of us just believe, oh, LDL is bad. If that's high, that's bad. I don't think that's been proven at all. I think LDL cholesterol is the other good cholesterol. Now, if you're like, no, LDL cholesterol, if it's high, it just causes heart attacks. It doesn't do anything good. This would be a great way for you to get used to using ChatGPT or Claude or Grok. Just type in, what are all of the things that LDL cholesterol do in my body, specifically good things? And the chat robot will return dozens, if not hundreds of things, and tell ChatGPT or Grok or Claude that I want a comprehensive list of every good thing that LDL cholesterol does in my body. And be prepared to do some reading, because it's a very long list. HDL is good cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is also good cholesterol. Stop worrying about your total cholesterol and your LDL cholesterol. There are other lab tests that are much, much more important. Here is Marina. You, Dr. Barry, your wife and kids, such a beautiful family. Wish you happiness. Oh, thank you so much, Marina. Thanks for the super chat. Marina also says, is drinking bone broth in between meals as bad as snacking? It kind of is snacking. Drinking bone broth in between meals would be like eating a can of salmon or a can of tuna in between meals, or a can of sardines. It's got protein and fat in it, and it's got enough protein that it's going to raise your insulin a little bit. And so especially if you're trying to lose fat, you really don't want to snack with anything in between. Okay. You want to eat discrete meals, whether that's once or twice or thrice a day. And you don't want to snack in between meals. That's going to help keep your insulin level lower for longer each day. And that's going to give you more time to metabolize the fat you're trying to get rid of. Also, Marina, I'm making and eating Isluterai yogurt regularly. What's your thoughts on that? I know you have read Dr. William Davis's book. Will it help with gastritis? So the biggest thing you could do to get rid of gastritis is to clean up your diet and eat either a real whole food, low carb diet, or a real whole food keto diet, or Ketovore or Carnivore. That's 99% of the time that makes gastritis go completely away. Some people have to take a couple of weeks of Prevacid or Protonix or Nexium to help with the gastritis, but please don't take those medications long term. The stomach, the bacteria in your yogurt is completely destroyed in your stomach acid. It's not going to really, there's not much of a gastric microbiome. There is, but it's not a big deal like your colon microbiome is. There may be some benefits from eating this yogurt if you make it at home, if you make it with full fat dairy, and if you ferment it long enough. There might be some benefits, but I think that if you make it from full fat yogurt and you ferment it until all the sugar's gone, it's also going to bend the proteins, the casein and the whey proteins, and make them less inflammatory. This is probably one of the less bad dairy products that an adult human can eat, but I don't think it has any magical benefits. There's Carmen. Thank you so much, Carmen. Here's Diamond. How can you free up more testosterone? It's okay getting to 1,000, but how can you free it up so the body can use more? So this is something you don't have to worry about, Diamond. Your body's going to do this itself naturally, okay? Once you've lowered the levels of chronic inappropriate inflammation in your body, once you've stopped eating all the carbohydrates, we've had men in our private community raise their testosterone anywhere from 50 to 450 points. Oh, hello, Loki. Welcome to the show. This is my co-anchor here. When Nisha's not with me, Loki likes to hang out on the back of my chair. Hey, Loki, how you doing? Good to see you. Loki may or may not answer questions. So your body, all this biochemical machinery is set up to work flawlessly in your body unless you're slowly poisoning your body with the standard American diet. Okay, you don't have to worry about this. We've seen women in our private group, their testosterone go up anywhere from 5 to 25 points naturally, in a good way, not in a bad way. Not, oh, they're going to get PCOS now. But women who are postmenopausal, we've seen their testosterone go back up to much more youthful levels, eating a proper human diet. Good question. Now, let's see. Here is 313 Detroit. My ferritin level was 798. AST and ALT also elevated. Doctor told me to lay off fatty red meat. Is my iron being so high a problem? Well, first of all, we don't know if your iron is high. Checking a ferritin level doesn't tell me anything about your iron level necessarily. There are about 100 things that can make your ferritin level elevate, about 100 things that can make it go down. If you do have high iron, that can cause elevated ferritin, but that's not the only cause. This is a common mistake that many primary care doctors, they remember that ferritin is related to iron somehow, which is true, but they don't remember that you can't just check a ferritin level. If it's high, say, oh, you've got high iron, avoid red meat. And fatty red meat, what's the fat have to do with it? That has literally nothing to do with it. 99% chance, 313 Detroit, that eating fatty red meat has nothing to do with your ferritin level being high. It's probably related to the thing that's making your AST and ALT high. Did your doctor comment on those and what the plan was? So you most likely have fatty liver, and you almost certainly have also inflammation in your liver, which can cause your ferritin to go up. If you'll adopt and stick to a very low carbohydrate, either ketovore, or a carnivore diet, your ferritin level is going to come down and your AST and ALT are going to return to normal unless there's something else causing this. Hopefully your doctor is investigating why your AST and ALT are elevated. And if your doctor really truly thinks that the high ferritin is from high iron, then your doctor needs to be checking some iron studies, which you didn't list here. So I'm assuming your doctor did not do that. Here's Lacey Rowe. Sorry. I have finally become a member of the Proper Human Diet community on your site. Been following you two since 2017. Dang, Lacey, you've been with us the whole time. Love the Berry family. You've helped me so many times. I owe you. And if any of you agree with Lacey, like, yeah, you really improved my health, I kind of owe you, then you can pay me back with $0. You can do it by sharing this video. You can do it by leaving a question or a comment. You can do it by becoming a member of our private community. We've got over 6,000 people from all over the world in our private Proper Human Diet family. There's a link down in the show notes if you want to sign up. You can share my videos on social media and help me reach new people who don't know the things that I teach. Any of those ways are ways you can pay it forward, or you can just teach your friends and family how to eat a proper human diet. Another great way you can help me is to print out a copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook. It's free. I'll email you a copy. There's a link in the show notes. And you can make 5, 10, 15, or 250 copies of that. And you have my permission to do that. It's copyrighted, but I'm telling you right now, you can make copies and I will not come after you. And you can share those copies with people that you care about. That's how you can pay it forward. But thanks for the super chat. That's another way to do it. Here is Susie. Susie, Dr. Berry, can carnivore cure my son's unbalanced hormones and high cholesterol? Well, we've already covered the cholesterol. I don't care if your son's total cholesterol or LDL cholesterol is high. These are very, very poor markers of increased risk of heart attack and stroke. I think that you need to focus on getting your son's triglycerides back down to normal, getting your son's HDL cholesterol elevated, and making sure that your son's A1C and fasting insulin levels are normal. Now, eating a junk diet can absolutely lower a young man's testosterone or a young woman's hormones as well. It can muck them up. So the number one thing that your son can do to get his testosterone back where it needs to be is to let him eat 90 days of nothing but beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and drink nothing but water or black coffee or unsweetened tea. It's fine. He can have a diet Dr. Pepper or diet Mountain Dew every now and then, but let's not make that his daily drink. And after 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, have him go back and get his testosterone rechecked. I think you'll be very happy, and your son will be very pleased with the results. Thank you, Box Van D. Anthony says, hello, Dr. Berry. I've been doing Ketovore for 5 months, and my blood pressure has been 130 waking up and 135 later on. Will it come down? So Anthony is under the false impression, like probably many of you are, that if your blood pressure is above 120, you have hypertension or high blood pressure. This is absolutely false. I, along with the American Academy of Family Physicians, think that Anthony's blood pressure of 130 is normal. That is a normal blood pressure. If any of you guys out there, if your blood pressure is under 145 on the top number and under 85 on the bottom number, you have a normal blood pressure. The American Heart Association, thanks to all the payoffs, donations from the big pharmaceutical houses that make blood pressure medication, keep falsely lowering the blood pressure goal. Now they say, oh, if it's above 120 on top, you've got high blood pressure. You need a blood pressure pill made by our friends who've given us millions of dollars at the big pharma companies. I think enough of us lived through 2020 to realize that big pharma is not your friend, and that many of the major medical associations are bought and paid for, like the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, the American Medical Association. Those are the big three that are bought and paid for by big pharma. They are literally the lapdogs of big pharma. Okay. If I was big pharma, the American Heart Association would be Loki. Loki depends on me to care and feed for her. She's going to do, well, she's a cat, so she ain't going to do a damn thing I want her to do. But if she were the American Heart Association, she would craft her message just exactly like I wanted her to, or I would stop giving her millions of dollars a year in donations, aka cat food in this case, and then Loki would starve to death, just like the American Heart Association would starve to death if they stopped getting big pharma donations. The American Diabetes Association is so bad at this. They have such a terrible track record at actually helping people with diabetes that me and a group of MDs and PhD doctors got together and formed the American Diabetes Society. If you go to the American Diabetes Association website and you start making food based on their recipes, your type 2 diabetes will get worse. You'll need more wait for it, you'll need more pharmaceuticals if you follow their recipes. But if you follow the recipes on the American Diabetes Society's website, your type 2 diabetes will get better. Your A1C will come down. Your blood sugar will come down. Many people have used those recipes to completely reverse their type 2 diabetes. Some people would say they cured their type 2 diabetes. They don't have it anymore. They have a normal blood sugar and a normal A1C. There's a link in the show notes to the American Diabetes Society. You can follow them on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. They have pages on all those social medias. You can also donate to the American Diabetes Society on their website. Good question. We're going to get to some news stories in a second. Let me get one more question. This is from Mind Bitcoin 24/7. I've been on carnivore diet for over 2 weeks. I'm 61 years old. I have weak kidneys. Is carnivore ultimately going to heal my kidneys and high blood pressure? Thanks. So a lot of doctors will say, oh, you've got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 chronic kidney disease. You need to avoid red meat. This is a complete and utter myth. Now, when a doctor tells you that, it's a big fat lie. But if your mom tells you that, it's a myth that she believes. It's completely wrong. We've got thousands of people who have improved their kidney function by eating more fatty red meat and less bread and cereal and fruit juice and other high carb junk. The leading cause of destroying your kidneys is prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, both of which are caused by too many carbohydrates, aka too much starch, aka too much sugar in your diet. So yeah, your kidney function is going to improve and your blood pressure is going to at least come down, if not go all the way back to normal. You're at the right place. Mind Bitcoin 24/7. Tell me in the comments, guys, what's your current thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you think that's something that people should look into and invest in? Or do you think it's a Ponzi scheme? Or do you just not know enough about it to have an opinion? I want to see your thoughts in the comments. Let's see. That was Bitcoin. There we go. Okay. Now, let's look at some news stories here. Let's look at this one. This one first up from Axios, Longevity's new muscle, creatine. So creatine monohydrate, once a supplement marketed to bodybuilders and athletes, has now become super popular among aging Americans and really every other single human on the planet. Every guru out there has an opinion about creatinine. Oh, you need to take this much a day. You absolutely need to supplement. What I'm about to tell you about creatinine may shock and surprise you and will definitely edify or educate you. Did you know that if you eat red meat and fish, if you eat enough each day, you can get 5 grams of creatinine a day in your diet for free? Don't even have to buy the supplement. Carnivores easily get 5 grams of creatine a day, which is the recommended supplemental dose, just by eating meat. Yeah. Now, if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, or you know someone who's a vegan or vegetarian, you absolutely need to supplement creatine in your diet because there is no creatine in plants. There's no creatine in nuts and seeds and berries and fruits, in vegetables. There's no creatine if you're eating a vegan or a vegetarian diet. You've got to supplement with creatine. Creatine really should be considered an essential nutrient. I think if you ate a creatine-free diet, a diet with no creatine for long enough, I think you would get sick, suffer, and eventually die prematurely. But you don't have to supplement creatine if you're eating plenty of meat. Did the guru tell you that when they were trying to say, hey, I've got this, put in this code and you'll get 10% off creatine, that they're going to get a little kickback from? I don't blame them for trying to make a buck, right? It's the American way. You got to get paid. But did they, full disclosure, tell you if you just eat enough meat, you'll get all the creatine your body needs? I hope they did. If they didn't, now you know. All right. Let's go to the next news story. Let's look at this one from the dailymail.com, a purveyor of misinformation all over the world. But this article is actually factual. There's now a golden age weight loss pill that mimics gastric bypass operation, hailed a miracle and said to be better than the fat jabs, which are Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. Those are the fat jabs. We call them weight loss injections here in the United States, but over in the UK, they call them fat jabs. So what this pill does is it basically coats the entire inside of your stomach and your small intestine so that you cannot absorb food for the rest of that day or however long the pill lasts before that coating wears off. Because I can promise you, your body is going to immediately try to get rid of that coating because your stomach and your intestines are designed to absorb nutrition. So yes, this pill will probably help you lose weight, but it will also completely prevent you from absorbing protein, which you need, fat, which you need, vitamins, which you need, and minerals, which you need because they are absorbed through your small intestine. So yeah, this would be the same exact thing as if I just put duct tape over your mouth or locked you in my barn and just didn't give you any food at all. This pill will have the same exact effect. You will lose weight, but you will also develop protein deficiency, fat deficiency, vitamin deficiencies, and mineral deficiencies because that's how you absorb nutrition, is through the lining of your intestine. So this pill is going to work for as long as you take it, but if you take it long enough, you're going to die or become malnourished or develop a deficiency. And as soon as you stop taking the pill, and if you keep eating junk, all the fat's going to come right back on. So rather than take a pill that's going to cause vitamin and mineral deficiencies, why not eat a proper human diet that is full of vitamins and minerals, full of healthy animal fat, full of healthy animal protein, all of which you need every day, and you get to eat until you're full. You don't have to portion control or calorie count or any of that foolishness. Especially if you're on a carnivore diet, you can eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs and seafood and fish as long as you don't bread it or fry it in vegetable seed oils. You can eat until you're comfortably stuffed and you'll still lose weight. Thousands upon thousands of people have done it. If anybody has used a proper human diet to lose a significant chunk of weight, please tell your story in the comments, because I guarantee you there's people watching this right now. They're like, he's full of crap. There ain't no damn way you can eat until you're comfortably stuffed and still lose weight. That ain't even possible. It is possible. Probably over 100,000 people in the United States alone have done it with either a ketogenic diet, a ketovore diet, or a carnivore diet. Now, when I say keto or ketogenic diet, I have to explain it a little bit. So listen carefully if you're currently on keto, because keto's become very popular. It's one of the most popular diets in all the world. Everybody's heard of it, but they may not understand exactly what it is. If you are buying anything from the supermarket that has the word keto on the label, it's not keto. You're like, wait, what? No, I'm doing keto. I bought the keto bread. I got these keto cookies. I got keto snacks. I got keto cake and keto pie. And I even got keto pancakes and keto pancake syrup. I'm doing keto. No, my friend. As we say here in the South, bless your heart, you're not doing keto. That's not keto. That's marketing. Here's what real whole food, one ingredient keto is. If this is a plate, half your plate's covered with fatty meat or eggs with the yolk or fatty seafood. The other half is covered with low-carb veggies. And then you have a few nuts, low-carb nuts, and a few berries for dessert. Keto is real whole food. It's not keto cake and keto bread and keto pie. Keto's so popular, I'm surprised they haven't come out with keto toilet paper. You can lose weight by wiping your butt. That makes just as much sense as keto bread. There ain't no such thing as keto bread that you can buy at the supermarket. Now, some folks have figured out how to make a keto-friendly bread that's got pretty clean ingredients. There's even carnivore breads that you can make. But I guarantee you, as carnivore continues to become more and more popular, because it's exploding right now, because it works so well, mark my words, within the next year, there will be carnivore bread at the supermarket, because everybody loves bread. We were raised our entire lives thinking bread's healthy, bread's good for you, bread's nourishing, bread's the staff of life. Our Savior broke bread. Bread is junk food, okay? Bread is poverty food. Bread is for people who can't afford meat. Bread will keep you alive. Bread will keep you from starving to death. But bread will never give you your optimal health. Okay, so when I say keto or ketogenic, I'm not talking about the keto bread or the keto cookies. Okay, I'm sorry if you wasted your money on any of that. My friend Dave Ramsey calls that paying stupid tax. We all, as we become wiser and wiser, we make mistakes, and sometimes we have to pay for those. That's called paying stupid tax. And so, yeah, I've paid a lot of stupid tax in my life. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, welcome to the club. You paid stupid tax. Sorry. Let's look at I think it's our last news story. Yes. Now, this news story actually appeared in the Times of India. So it's an Indian newspaper website. But here's the thing the point I want to make is, first of all, the information in this is misinformation. It's propaganda. It's crap. It's based on observational research, which can never prove causation. So look at the title. Strawberries can help fight fatty liver and diabetes. Can. Now, if they had said strawberries might or strawberries may, that would be honest, because the research that they talk about, this 2023 study, is an epidemiological study. Okay, it's not a randomized controlled trial. It cannot show that strawberries do anything. It can't show that strawberries can fight fatty liver. So they don't have a nutrition editor at the Times of India. Now, why am I bringing up an article in an Indian newspaper? Because anytime we have something become popular in the United States, it's going to spread all over the world. That's just how the world currently works. If the American Heart Association says, oh, strawberries, the American Diabetes Association, and I'm not anti-strawberries. We've got strawberries growing in our garden right now. When they're ripe, the kids will eat some, Nisha will eat some, I might eat one or two. And yeah, I'm not anti-strawberry, but I am anti-bullshit. And that's what this is. Strawberries absolutely will not help you with your fatty liver. Strawberries absolutely will not help you with your diabetes, okay? This is what I call the false replacement theory, or the false addition theory, because a lot of people out there, they don't understand that what's causing their chronic disease is what they're eating. They think, oh, if I just look at this article, if I add strawberries to the diet I'm currently eating, my fatty liver will get better. If I add strawberries to my diet that I'm currently eating, right, then my diabetes will improve. That is not how it works, my friends. In order to get rid of fatty liver, you have to remove things from your diet. In order to get rid of your type 2 diabetes, or to improve your type 1 diabetes, or your MODY or LADA diabetes, you've got to remove stuff from your diet. If you keep eating a diet that's full of bread and breakfast cereal and drink lots of Coke or drink lots of fruit juice, because fruit juice and Coke are essentially the same thing. Fruit juice has some vitamin C in it. You can add a gallon of strawberries a day to your diet. You can add 2 kilograms of strawberries a day to your diet. Your fatty liver is not going to get any better at all. Your diabetes is not going to get any better at all. Okay? You could add 50 pounds of strawberries. Your fatty liver, diabetes, they're not going to get any better at all. You don't improve fatty liver or diabetes by adding strawberries to your diet. You'll see articles just like this about blueberries, about different kinds of nuts. If you're eating a high carb diet that's full of ultra processed food, your diabetes is never going to get better, no matter what you add to it. Your fatty liver is never going to get better. Your blood pressure is never going to come down. Your obesity. They could have said strawberries can help fight obesity. It'd been the exact same thing. No, you can eat 20 pounds of strawberries a day. You're not going to lose any weight if you keep eating the high carb crap that you're eating. You have to remove things from your diet. Okay, so what do you remove from your diet? First of all, you remove all of the added sugar. If it comes in something you eat or something you drink, if it has added sugar, that is not real human food. Okay, that's a product that's made in a chemical factory, sold by Big Food, that they use to make billions of dollars a year with. You're going to remove all of the grains from your diet. Wheat, rice, oats, corn, and soybean. They're all full of starch, which breaks down into sugar, which is going to give you fatty liver and make your diabetes worse. Step number 3 is you're going to remove all of the vegetable seed oils. Canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower, safflower, peanut oil, vegetable shortening, plant butter. I think somebody should have a class action lawsuit against the plant butter people. That's a sin to call something made of canola oil butter. Shouldn't even be legal. Okay, you're going to get all those 3 things out of your diet. You know what that's going to remove completely from your diet? Ultra processed food, all the junk food that you can just buy and just eat immediately. You don't have to prepare it. You don't have to cook it. You just eat it, right? Anything from a Nutri-Grain bar to a Slim Fast shake to a bowl of cereal to a loaf of bread. If you get rid of sugar, grains, and most beans and vegetable seed oils, all that stuff is off your menu because it's poverty food at best, and it's Franken food, not even real human food at worst. Does that make sense? So that's the news for today. Those are the ridiculous news article that people, they either read the headline or read the headline in the first paragraph and say, okay, I've got diabetes. I'm just going to start buying strawberries every time I go to the grocery. I'm going to keep eating Lucky Charms or Wheaties, essentially the same thing. I'm going to keep eating Frosted Flakes or Special K, essentially the same thing. And I'm going to put some strawberries on top, and that'll help my fatty liver or my diabetes. No, you're falling for the same old crap that we've been falling for the last 50 years. If you want to get rid of your type 2 diabetes, you're going to eat predominantly meat, eggs with the yolk, plus or minus fish if you like it. And your A1C, your blood sugar, your diabetes is going to improve. And within 6 to 12 months, your type 2 diabetes, if you eat low carb enough, is going to be completely gone. You won't even have it anymore. Has anybody watching this reverse type 2 diabetes eating the way I recommend? If so, put yes in the comments. Just type in the word yes in the comments. Let people who are watching this right now going, is this country boy full of crap? Watch how many yeses go across the screen. If anybody watching has used low carb, keto, ketovore, carnivore to reverse your fatty liver completely, type yes into the comments. Watch the yeses go by. Okay. If anybody in the watching has used keto, ketovore, carnivore to lose a significant amount of weight, more than 20 pounds, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds, or even more, type yes into the comments. Let everybody see. Because people are like, I'm curious about keto or I'm curious about carnivore, but my doctor said, look at the yeses going by right now. Are all these people duped? Are all these people, have they had a lobotomy? How did it improve all of these health conditions if it's so damn dangerous? Think about that. Ask yourself that. Look at all the yeses, guys. Look at all the yeses. 45 pounds. Here's Doug. Doug says, how about the effect on ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, etc.? PhD makes all those better or go away as well. And Doug is exactly right. There's so many research studies going on right now using a ketogenic diet, remember it's real whole food keto, it's not keto cookies and keto bread, it makes mental health conditions improve. And for a lot of people, they're either offended, but when I say that, or they're confused. They're like, how does it affect your mental health? I don't understand. Because we've been taught as a society our whole life that mental health is somehow that's different than body health or metabolic health, right? Your mind is somehow it's different. No, your mind is in your brain is in your body. It's fed by the same blood supply that feeds the rest of your body. The same blood supply that gave you fatty liver will also increase your risk of developing anxiety or depression or ADHD or OCD or anxiety or even schizophrenia. Yeah, it'll either cause those conditions or make those conditions more severe. Report after report, case studies, case series, and now ongoing interventional research is showing that mental health improves when you eat a very low carbohydrate diet. And I know right now, some of you guys are sitting there going, that cannot be right. I'm having to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 psychiatric medications to control my mental health. And this redneck is telling me if I change my diet, my mental health will get better? How dare he? I'm just telling you the information. If it hurts your feelings, if it offends you, I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to hurt your feelings. I'm telling you the truth. And what you're going to see is over the next 5 to 10 years, as the research is done and published, more and more psychiatrists, more and more psychologists, more and more social workers are going to start recommending at least a low-carb diet, if not a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet, for all of their mental health patients. I'm just telling you, even young kids with oppositional defiant disorder or ADHD or anxiety or social anxiety disorder, depression, if you will slowly, lovingly, because they're little kids, you don't want to go in there like some kind of keto or carnivore Nazi and just say, no more, we're throwing all this away. Over the next month or 2 or 3, every time you go to the supermarket, because I'm pretty sure your kids don't buy the groceries, every time you go, buy more low-carb foods, which could be meat, eggs, fish, crustaceans, shellfish. It could be low-carb vegetables. It could even be berries, low-carb fruits. I've got YouTube videos about how to pick low-carb versions of all those things. Okay? And for kids, I think that real keto snacks that you make yourself or you buy from somebody who actually understands keto, I can tell you right now, Pillsbury and Duncan Hines, they don't know what keto is and they don't give a damn what keto is. They're going to put keto on their cake mix box and on their frosting or icing containers. And you're the dummy if you give them your money. That's not keto. Okay. Keto bread, the keto bread companies don't give a damn about your kid or your health. They don't care if your kid's got depression and on 3 different medications. They don't give a damn if your kid's got ADHD and on something that's literally habit forming. You make your own, or you buy it from a reputable company who actually cares about you and your family's health. Your kid's mental health issues going to improve. It may not go completely away. I'm even talking about autism and Asperger's. Okay. We have seen virtually miraculous improvement in kids with autism and Asperger's and kids who are on the spectrum. The lower carb they eat, the better their mental health function is. The lower carb they eat, the better their behavior is. I'm just telling you guys, and I think personally that the more low carb these kids eat, the less that they suffer. Because when you're a young kid and you have a mental health issue or an organic brain disease, you're suffering. You're not enjoying life. Why not give them the chance to enjoy their life? Why not do that for the kids that you love? All right. Here's a question from Nancy. Can eating carnivore correct a hhighal hernia? No. Eating keto, ketovore, carnivore will not correct a hhighal hernia, which is different, but it also won't correct an inguinal hernia, an umbilical hernia. These are anatomical issues. Okay. These are not inflammatory issues. These are not metabolic issues. These are anatomical benefits. Just like if you break your leg, carnivore won't fix that. Now, it may help it heal faster, but it's not going to fix it. You're going to have to get that taken care of. Good question. Mo says, can you talk about what to eat right after the ER visit to recover from a diverticulitis diagnosis, say the next 2 weeks after? So for the first few days after, I would sip on bone broth and I would eat scrambled eggs. If you've had any kind of a gut flare-up that took you to the emergency department, emergency room, or the A&E, as they say in the UK. After a week or two of bone broth and scrambled eggs, scramble those eggs in butter. Do not scramble them in canola oil. Your gut's going to be healed up and fine, and then you can go back to eating either real whole food keto or Ketovore or carnivore. And I'll tell you guys, if you have diverticulosis and you'd like to almost never have another diverticulitis flare-up, watch my YouTube video about diverticulitis and then adopt either a ketogenic diet, a Ketovore diet, or a carnivore diet, and you will have 90% fewer diverticulitis flare-ups than you've had in the past. Andy, I've lost 20 pounds on carnivore. I see where it doesn't affect kidneys. It does affect kidneys. It tends to make them function better. It just doesn't have a negative effect on kidneys. But I have one kidney and one atrophied kidney from birth that only works 14%. Any concerns? Yes, I have concerns about you, Andy. My concerns are I want you to protect your kidney function for the rest of your life, which means you need to eat a very low carbohydrate diet for the rest of your life. That's going to protect your kidney function like gold in Fort Knox. You guys believe the gold's really in Fort Knox? Or you think some of it's gone? A lot of talk about that there for a while. We haven't heard about it lately, but yes or no? You think the gold's in Fort Knox? We're not going to talk about it, but I just want to ask the question. I want to see what you guys think. Because I know anytime you're smart enough to know that the food you eat matters, you're also smart enough to kind of pay attention to other issues out there. So I want to see what you guys, if you, yes or no, is the gold in Fort Knox, or is all the gold in Fort Knox, yes or no? Tell me in the comments. Ryan, hey, Dr. Berry, is 100 days of beef butter and eggs, I don't eat pork, and water a good reset for the body? Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It's a grand slam home run. I don't know, what's the equivalent in cricket to a grand slam home run? Like a really great play in cricket. I don't know. But yes, absolutely. Meat and eggs are the most uninflammatory foods that you can eat. So whether you're trying to reset inflammation in your skin, inflammation in your gut, inflammation in your joints, mental health, 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, plus or minus the bacon if you don't eat pork for a religious reason. I totally understand. You can substitute fish for pork as long as the fish is not breaded and it's not fried in a vegetable seed oil. Okay. We're actually running a challenge like that right now inside of our private community. And they're about 2 weeks into the challenge right now. Yeah, about exactly 2 weeks in. They started May the 1st. And 1,000 people are doing this challenge and reporting as the weeks go by what benefits they're getting from just eating a carnivore diet. Some of them are doing it with keto, meat heavy keto. Some are doing it with Ketovore. We're always running challenges like that in our private community. We're always having guest speakers in our private community that the rest of the world don't get the benefit of that, because these people have taken the extra step to join our private proper human diet family. So they get access to all this extra stuff. If you've got a good support structure at home or your family and friends, then you may not need that. But if you're like, no, dude, I'm the only person in my family doing keto, I'm the only person in my neighborhood doing carnivore, I need some support, we got you. Click on the link in the show notes and join our private community. There's 2 different price levels. I think both of them, for the value you get, are very affordable. And like I always say, that's optional. You don't have to join our community, but if you can just listen to my free YouTube videos and see all my free social media everywhere. But if you need support, if you're like, I know I'm a sugar addict, but my spouse is not going to help me. My kids, my mom and dad, they're not going to help me. Mom actually brought a cherry pie over here, knowing that I'm trying to cut down on sugar. If you are in that kind of situation and you need support, click the link in the show notes and we'll help you. We'll take you by the hand. When you're feeling weak, we'll lift you up. When you make a mistake, we'll pick you up. We're not going to let you fail. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Here's Janine. Is high iodine level a concern? Had mine tested when I was 53 days sugar and carbohydrate sober. Had stopped taking my dropper of Lugol's 2% 10 days before the test. Blood test measured 232 nanograms per milliliter. So first of all, the blood test is not as good of a measure as a 24-hour urine for iodine. But yeah, you misunderstood. You're not supposed to take a dropper full of Lugol's 2% or 5%. You're supposed to take anywhere from 2 to 5 drops of Lugol's 2% or 5%. Okay, you're taking too much. And as soon as you stop taking it, and so get this level rechecked again in a week. It's going to be down to probably under 200. In another week, it'll be down to about 150. Another week, and it'll come right back down to normal because you're going to pee out the excess. Okay, you're going to urinate that away. And in the future, use 2 to 5 drops, not a dropper full. That's too many drops. Okay. But this has not caused any harm or any damage to you, Janine. You're going to go right back to normal. Your levels will go right back to normal. Denise just had emergency gallbladder surgery, been keto carnivore for over 10 years, had golf ball size stones and an extended gallbladder. What can I eat? You can eat keto and carnivore. Keto and carnivore decrease the risk of ever having to have your gallbladder taken out, but it does not make you immortal or bulletproof. It does not make you a demigod. It doesn't make you an avenger. You're still a human being. You're still going to have occasional things that happen to you, right? It's just going to decrease the chances, decrease the odds of that happening to you because we live in the real world. And anytime you get out of bed and put your feet on the floor, you're rolling the dice. You might get hit by a bus or a meteor. You might catch some infectious disease, even though you're healthy as a horse. Things happen. People get sick. People die. But I like having a lower chance of those bad things happening. And as soon as you're healed up, you can go right back to eating keto or carnivore because bile doesn't come from your gallbladder. Bile comes from your liver. Anybody without a gallbladder can still eat keto or carnivore just fine. You may have to come at it a little slower. You may not be able to just go carnivore overnight. You may have to come at it and slowly lower the carbs and raise the meat over a month or 2 or 3 to give your liver time to ramp up bile production, but you can still do it just fine. If you haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up or the heart and make sure you're subscribed if you're watching this on YouTube. A lot of times people think they're subscribed and they're not. Just make sure you are. Good question, Denise. Here's BTNT. 6 months on a very low carb diet. How come my blood work showed positive ketone trace and positive small leukocyte esterase? So BTNT, if your urine is leukocyte esterase positive, that means you may have a bladder infection. If you have ketones, you only had a trace of ketones, that means you're in ketosis. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Being in ketosis gives you many of the benefits of eating a ketogenic diet. I don't think it gives you all the benefits. I think you get other benefits as well. But if you're eating a ketogenic diet or a ketovore diet or a carnivore diet with enough fat, you're going to be in ketosis for much of the day. Did your doctor act like having ketones in your urine was unhealthy or bad? If so, your doctor doesn't understand what a ketogenic diet is. Marina, again, my B12 was 918, ALT 133, slight fatty infiltration of liver. I started Ketovore after these blood tests. So the B12 being high, if you were taking a B12 supplement, stop doing that because you're going to get all the B12 you need from meat, okay? The Ketovore diet is going to help you reverse what is most likely fatty liver, but your ALT being 133, your doc needs to do some further investigation to make sure it's just fatty liver and nothing else. Has your doc checked the hepatitis panel? Have they done a scan of your liver? Have they checked the GGT If not, they need to check all that and make sure there's nothing else wrong with your liver. But if it is just fatty liver, Ketovore, within 6 months, your fatty liver is going to be completely gone. It may not even take 6 months. Brian, will strict carnivore help me get rid of my prostate cancer? I eat about 70% carnivore, but I drink coffee with Coffee Mate. Oh, God. Brian, Coffee Mate? Dude, that is made in a chemical factory. Throw that away immediately. If you want to put something in your coffee, put a tablespoon of heavy cream or put a tablespoon of butter in your coffee and take a frother and froth it up. It's delicious. It's going to give you that creamy mouthfeel. Coffee Mate? International, what is it? International House of Coffee or Carnation? Don't put any of that crap in your coffee, y'all. That shit it's a chemical shitstorm. Oh, no. I don't think it caused your cancer. 1 or 2 Monster Zero energy drinks a day. Brian, dude, you're old enough to have prostate cancer. You're old enough to know better than to drink Monsters. Okay? Wean those down and stop that. So now back to the prostate cancer. Prostate cancer and many other kinds of cancer are solid tumor cancers, meaning there's a tumor in your body that your doctor can point to on a scan, or surgery can point to it with his literal finger. Solid tumor cancers love sugar. That's how we can find a cancer on a PET scan. PET scan uses radio-labeled sugar to find cancer. Why don't they use radio-labeled fat or radio-labeled protein to find cancer? Because cancer don't give a damn about fat or protein. Cancer wants sugar. And more research is coming out showing that cancer can only thrive and metastasize when there's plenty of sugar in your diet. We've got thousands of people who have slowed down the progression of their cancer, whether it's bowel cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, any other solid tumor cancer, with a ketogenic or a carnivore diet. Now, I'm not saying that these diets cure cancer, but I am saying that they're not only going to strengthen your body so your body can fight the cancer, but it's also going to slow down the aggressive growth of the cancer because you're cutting the sugar. Hey, Nisha, how you doing? Nisha has been to Walmart and loved every minute of it. Sarcasm. Thank you, Brian, for that question. Please, Brian, if you do become a member of our community to get more support and help, please, I want to follow your story and see how this progresses as you get the coffee made out of your mouth, the Monsters out of your mouth, and start eating predominantly. Let's go to 90% carnivore. And follow up with your doctor, follow up with your oncologist, of course. Thank you, H. Cami. Here's Tampa native. Hey, Dr. Barry, I am a longtime fan, but 2 days new to joining our private community. My wife and I love the carnivore diet, but her doctor tells her that taking Abilifi is keeping her out of ketosis. Is this true? It may be making it harder for her to get into ketosis. A lot of the mental health medications, Abilifi included, a lot of the diabetes medications that you take for type 2 diabetes will make it harder for you to get in ketosis. Yes, absolutely. A lot of blood pressure medicines make it harder for you to get in ketosis. I think what your wife is going to find is that as she continues carnivore, she's going to get tons of benefits, including mental health benefits. And ultimately, she might be able to decrease the dose of her Abilifi. Yep. Stick with there. And you guys are in our private community, so I want at least weekly updates. Please post in the main chat. For those of you who are not members of our community, it's just like Facebook. You can post in there. You can comment on other people's posts. You can heart people's posts. Nisha and I we've got 10 Primal Health Coach certified coaches in there helping people. We've got lots of OG coaches in there who have been following this way of eating for years, who are more than willing and able to reach out and help people like Tampa native and his wife say, hey, here's what I did. I used to have that exact same thing. It's gone now, or it's 95% better. Let me show you how I did it. So I love it that you guys are group members, and I want updates because there are many people following your story. God's word from the rest area. I was on Ozempic for a year. It stopped working after 6 months. See, here in the United States, people don't stop paying their copay. They don't stop having to get prior authorizations. They don't stop having to pay higher insurance rates. But most of these drugs stop working after 3 to 9 months. I lost 43 pounds. I still got 40 to go. I've done dirty keto. I just don't know what to believe or do. God's word from the rest area. I challenge you for the next 90 days. I want you to eat nothing but beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and cook what you eat in either butter, lard, or bacon grease, or beef tallow. Watch the weight fall off. You can eat as much as you want. You don't have to portion control. You don't have to calorie count. You don't even have to count macros if you're going to just stick to nothing but beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. You can eat once a day, twice a day, or thrice a day. And at the end of that 90 days, I want you to come back and tell me how many pounds you've lost. It's going to be significant. All right. What about, here's another from H. Cami. Can carnivore raise C-reactive protein or CRP? No, it cannot. And usually it lowers CRP. 3 months carnivore, and mine jumped from 2.7, jumped to 2.7 from 0.68. My insulin is 3.6, which is beautiful. My glucose is 92, which is beautiful. And my A1C is 5.2, which is beautiful. There are about 1,000 things that can make your CRP go up, C-reactive protein. Since you have a history of breast and colon cancer, you need to go back to your oncologist and say, hey, my CRP went up. Will you check and make sure there's no sign that the cancer's coming back? Because there's nothing about a carnivore diet that raises CRP. There's also nothing about a carnivore diet that increases your risk of colon cancer or breast cancer. But since you have that in your history, I want you to check and make sure. Go see your primary care doc and say, hey, now you may not have to, because an ingrown toenail can make your CRP go up. If you've had a recent upper respiratory infection, that can make your CRP go up. If you've got an infected pimple on your face or on your booty, that can make your CRP go up. Any kind of inflammation or infection will make your CRP go up. But a carnivore diet is uninflammatory. It's not going to make your CRP go up. Something else is going on. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you haven't already done so, please consider sharing this on your social media, because we've answered a lot of questions today. I guarantee you there are people on your Facebook or on your whatever social media you're on that they could benefit from the answers to these questions. They currently believe myths, misconceptions, or flat out lies. You can help them know the truth. If you want to become a member of our private community, the link's in the show notes. If you want a free copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook, 40 pages, there's a link in the show notes. I'll email you a copy within 30 minutes of you putting in your info. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me. I'll see you next